So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 4, and verse number 17. I'm displaying on the screen. I'll go through the reading and then we'll have some discussion. Karno pidhaya nirayad yadakalpa ishe dharma vitaryashrunibir rubir asyamane Chindyat prasahya rushatim asatim prabhuschet jifvam asun apitato visrujet sadharmaha karnau pidhaya nirayad yatakalpa ishe dharma vitarya shrunibhir nrupirasya mane Chindyat prasahya rushatim asatim prabhuschet jifvam asun apitato visrujet sadharmaha. Word to word, karnau, both ears, pidhaya, blocking, nirayat, one should go away, yat, if, akalpaha, unable, ishe, the master, dharma avitari, the controller of religion, ashranibihi, by irresponsible, nrubihi, persons, asyamani, being blasphemed, chindyat, he should cut, prasahya, by force, prishatim, vilifying, asatim, of the blasphemer, prabhu, one is able, chet, if, jifvam, tongue, asun, his own life, api, certainly, tataha, then, vishrujet, should give up, saha, that, dharmaha, is the process. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sati continued, if one hears an irresponsible person blaspheme the master and controller of religion, one should block his ears and go away if unable to punish him. But if one is able to kill, then one should by force cut out the blasphemer's tongue and kill the offender, and after that one should give up his own life. Purport. The argument offered by Sati is that a person who vilifies a great personality is the lowest of all creatures. But by the same argument, Daksha could also defend himself by saying that since he was a Prajapati, the master of many living creatures and one of the great officers of the great universal affairs, his position was so exalted that Sati should accept his good qualities instead of vilifying him. The answer to that argument is that Sati was not vilifying but defending. If possible, she should have cut out Daksha's tongue because he blasphemed Lord Shiva. In other words, since Lord Shiva is a protector of religion, a person who vilifies him should be killed at once. And after killing such a person, one should give up one's life. That is the process. But because Daksha happened to be the father of Sati, she decided not to kill him, but to give up her own life in order, in order to compensate for the great sin she had committed by hearing blasphemy of Lord Shiva. The instruction set forth here in Srimad Bhagavatam is that one should not tolerate at any cost the activities of a person who vilifies or blasphemes an authority. If one is a Brahmana, he should not give up his body, because by doing so he would be responsible for killing a Brahmana. Therefore, a Brahmana should leave the place or block his ears so that he will not hear the blasphemy. If one happens to be a Kshatriya, he has the power to punish any man. Therefore, a Kshatriya should at once cut out the tongue of the vilifier and kill him. But as far as the Vaishyas and Shudras are concerned, they should immediately give up their bodies. Sati decided to give up her body because she thought herself to be among the Shudras and Vaishyas. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.32, Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudra, women, laborers, and the mercantile class are on the same level. Thus, since it is recommended that Vaishyas and Shudras should immediately give up their bodies upon hearing blasphemy of an exalted person like Lord Shiva, she decided to give up her life. Do the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskrityam Narancheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right. Welcome for today's Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from Canto 4, 17th verse in chapter 4. So, just to set the scene, there are a series of verses before and after this verse, where Sati has finally visited the her parents' house, and what she see is that she was neglected, especially by his father, Daksha, and also she found that they were not offering oblations to her husband, Lord Shiva. And these verses, she was uh, directing this towards her father. And this verse specifically talks about how when one hears a blasphemy, uh, which Daksha is doing to Lord Shiva since the beginning, he was very envious. And Sati says here that if one hears such a blasphemy, uh, either one should walk away or punish or give up the life. Actually, all of them, depending on where one falls in. Like it could be Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or uh, other orders and Varnas. So, what is a blasphemy? Just to understand, it could be many things. A blasphemy is an insult, could be an insult, especially to a saintly persons. And blasphemy could be spreading rumors of their characters. Blasphemy uh, can be criticizing somebody uh, or finding faults, even if there are some accidental mistakes of great devotees. So it doesn't have to be an exalted devotee. It can be any person, but especially it is more effective when it was directed towards a great devotees or a saintly persons. And Sati was proving again from this verse that she was so chaste uh, because she was defending her husband because of her loyalty towards him, and she was speaking these words. And Lord Shiva here was referred to as the master and controller of religion. We know Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the source of everything, is the cause of everything, and is the source of the religion, dharma. However, Shiva uh, is the enforcer, or uh, the controller of that dharma in this material world. Like if we consider the material world as a prison house, he is the superintendent. He is enforcing the rules of dharma, of the religion. And he is a great devotee. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, it was mentioned, Vaishnavanam Yathashambho, uh, of all the Vaishnavas, Lord Shiva is the greatest. And in the same verse, there are other things also, like of all the great rivers, Mother Ganges is the greatest. And of all the gods, Lord Achyuta is the supreme personality of Godhead. And of all Puranas, Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Purana. In that verse, it says, similarly, of all the devotees, Vaishnavas, that Shiva is the supreme, or is the greatest Vaishnava. And his role, as we know, is a Guna avatar. He is a destroyer of irreligion, and also he is easily pleased. He's Ashutosh. So even if one does a little act of devotion, he is so merciful that he can direct us towards Krishna. But if he's not, if he's following a religion, then he can destroy them. So basically, he's a protector of the religion. And to that, Lord Shiva, who is the greatest of all devotees, uh, Daksha is being blaspheming him, uh, not once, but many times. And now Lord Sati is directly seeing it. She's seeing that how he's being neglected. And it is here Satish exemplifying how one cannot tolerate any blasphemy towards the devotees or towards the master. Similarly, there was this verse when His Holiness Rompa Swami Maharaj was giving one of the Srimad Bhagavatam class recently. It's on topic of Lord Rama. After Mother Sita leaves this material world, Lord Rama takes up the austerity of doing the fire sacrifice for 13,000 years. And in that verse, it's mentioned that he was in at Dandakaranya forest, and he was walking in that forest without any sandals or shoes. And the thorns pricking Lord Rama, there Prabhupada says the devotees cannot tolerate even the thorns pricking Lord Rama. What to speak of blaspheming uh, the Lord or his devotees. In fact, he doesn't, Lord cannot tolerate more than himself to his devotees. And in the in Srila Prabhupada's case also, he has exemplified so many times. I was reading his biography where Satsvarupa Das Goswami, he mentions this is when the Juhu temple, the Bombay, uh, that there was this fight or conflict. Mr. N, he promises that he will give the land, and they take some cash as well. But for whatever reason, he wants to cheat, and Srila Prabhupada was so determined that he fights back. And in the book, it was written that if it comes to Krishna, or if Krishna's interest is at stake, then Prabhupada is very condemning. I mean, he fought back very seriously. He cannot tolerate if Krishna's interest is at stake. And in that episode, it's Krishna's. He promises Krishna. That is one of the internal reason why he was fighting. He was so determined. He promises Radha Rasvihari that uh, before building the temple, he brings the deities and then he says to them that I will build you the temple. Please stay here until I do that, even though the place is not clean. And the external reason was that he wants to build this Krishna city because Bombay is the gateway of India, and then he wants to build all these five-star hotels and big buildings for his disciples from Western countries, so everyone is able to come here and worship and stay there. So there are multiple reasons why Prabhupada has to fight back for that land. But the lesson is the preacher cannot tolerate if it comes to Krishna or his devotees. In Srimad Bhagavatam also we know now the we'll be observing Lord Narasimha Dev appearance soon. Even in that, the Lord is very dear to his devotees. I mean, devotees are very dear, very they want to protect the Lord, uh, and the Lord wants to protect the devotees. Prahlad Maharaj was a great example how he tolerated so many from his father Hiranyakashipu, uh, but finally he has to be killed by the Lord because Lord Narasimha cannot tolerate so much uh, chastisement to his devotees. Anyways, in this one, the other topic I want to speak about is there was a verse from Bhagavad Gita. It stated, Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudra. That it means this is woman, the mercantile man, and Shudra, which basically refers to all of us in the Kali Yuga. Uh, they are defined or they are categorized by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita as the lower class. And also in Bhagavatam also, Vyasadeva writes, I think in the first canto of fourth chapter, where he compiles or expands Vedas. In one of the verses, he says, Stri, Shudra, Dvijabandhu. These three are considered to be the less intelligent. And therefore, he compiled the Purana Mahabharata for them so they can understand. So, with how we need to see this. So, what I was uh, contemplating on this while this verse came to me to discuss on this. So, this is primarily not based on um, primarily on like okay woman or a gender based gender biased. It's from the Vedic studies or scriptures. This class of this class of men or women, they're especially women, their psychological nature or their physical bodies were not favorable to perform some parts of austerities like the Vedic rituals or uh, to perform austerities to uh, how one can understand Lord through mental speculation or not mental through jnana, through knowledge, like how Jnanis does, or how Ashtanga yogis perform so many austerities. So that is not possible or not favorable for women. Therefore, they are falling into the category of this. And also, they, in the same verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the soul is genderless. That means it's whether it's a man's body or woman's body, woman body. It is, the soul is not considered less intelligent. It is always pure. And if one takes shelter, vyapashritaha, that is the key word in the verse. If one takes shelter of the Lord, then they get highest destination, supreme destination, param gatim. So that's what Krishna says. Even though they are considered this, but if they are taking shelter of me, then they will attain the ultimate destination. It's how to understand this. It's like the destination can be farther to this class of to these categories. Maybe they're 1,000 miles far away, versus uh, others who are performing other austerities or other yogic processes. They might be a little closer to the destination, 100 miles away. The destination is same, the distance is different because of their nature. But however one follows bhakti, that's what Prabhupada says, one follows bhakti, both will reach the same place at the same time. Uh, it's like getting onto an airplane and going to the destination. So the natural tendency of women is to is the affection, is having a need of social bondage or connections, and we can easily see that day to day of their interaction with the children. So the Sri or women are so affectionate than men uh, in those connection aspects. And that is another reason can also uh, one can say who is on a gnani level or performing Ashtanga yoga, they can term this as an attachment, uh, so which is less favorable for self-realization. That is another way to understand. However, Prabhupada says that women, due to the same natural tendency of affection, that can be also a bigger advantage, because as we all know, Krishna can be achieved, or one can reach or understand Krishna only through love, pure love. That is the highest. And if this natural tendency of women, if one can direct that towards Krishna, then the bondage will leads to freedom, or the bondage will leads to devotion, bhakti. So therefore, it is in that way it is more favorable, because they already have the quality, versus others have to strive, because especially men uh, have this logic and reasoning. Therefore, there is a pride and false ego comes into play. For the women, it is not easy. I mean, more favorable for bhakti. So we can see both sides. But here, Sati was considered herself as a woman, uh, especially from Vedic times. In this age and day, everyone is less intelligent, but Sati, Mother Sati was trying to or giving, not trying, she's exemplifying uh, how one should respond to blasphemy. And she is giving up her body. That's what happens later on the verses. So how this is when blasphemy happens to others. So what one should do is just like uh, Prabhupada write in the purport that Daksha can argue or defend himself by saying whatever the reasons he can give. Uh, but Mother Sati is not arguing with him. She's defending uh, the personality, the master of her, which is Lord Shiva. It's similar to one can defend if one's father has been insulted, or we can understand that way. A son can defend father's honor when he's being insulted because he's a father. Uh, he's protecting the truth. It's not arguing or winning the argument. Is one is trying to protect the truth. Therefore, Sati is also trying to do that here. So one needs to leave the place, as mentioned here, or otherwise, what happens? One may get contaminated. It becomes an aparadha. It's an offense that it can bring down the creeper of devotion, whatever one has accumulated in his life because of the devotion, that can easily go down with one offense. And blasphemy, hearing blasphemy is such a big offense. To us, it's an aparadh that uh, one can fall down very easily. So there is blasphemy to others, pure devotees. What happens if blasphemy to me? How one should respond? And we have so many verses, especially the verse that says Tranadapi Sunitena. Uh, that's what Prahlad Maharaj did. One need to tolerate it. Uh, and one can come to this introspection of, yes, how am I doing in my sadhana? That's what Maharaj says. How one need to question themselves, how we are doing in our own sadhana before vilifying others. Uh, I'm looking at the time. There are a couple more minutes. So there are other ashramas. It's also mentioned in this purport. How a kshatriya should respond, how a brahmana should respond, vaishyas and shudras. Uh, and in the same way, there are other ashramas and divisions, like how a brahmachari should respond or how a gruhastha should respond. A brahmachari, sannyasi, and vanaprastha, they need to leave, they need to ignore, or they can, because they are detached in their ashrama, they are following the Lord in their serious devotion. But Grihastha uh, needs to refute or defend because they are dealing with the worldly affairs. Uh, in the similar way, a Kshatriya should defend, not only defend, one should cut the tongue of the vilifier, such as strong statement. And a Brahmana should block their ears. In the same way, there are these Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttamadhikari. Kanishta, because of their faith is very little, it can easily shaken up. So they need to leave the place immediately. Uh, Otherwise, it becomes an aparat for them just by hearing. And Madhyama and Uttama should refute. And Uttama, as we know, he can take a position of a Madhyamadhikari, and therefore he refutes. Otherwise, he's so compassionate, he's merciful that even though the mud is thrown at the sky doesn't get affected. Similarly, Uttamadhikari still shows compassion towards them, but he takes up the position of Madhyamadhikari to refute and defend the Lord and his devotees. I think I'll stop here just to conclude. It's the other way that we can do the time. Mara says there is this time which can also test the character, whether uh, he is good or bad. So we can be patient and wait for the time. That also tells us whether one person is actually a good person or not. We don't have to uh, vilify them because they're blaspheming somebody else. All right, I'll stop here due to the time. Please let me know if there is any discussions or questions. It's open up right now. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, then Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, very wonderful class, and the sensitive issues are going. Uh, actually, I was thinking about that Dandakaranya incidents when Rama was walking and thorns were picking his feet. Can you tell me where that is it? You said after the Sita left, right?
Yes, yes,
Thinking
Mataji.
about
I
that
mean, there are
one.
only few verses, as we know,
Okay.
a couple of chapters. But yeah, I will send you the.
Is it after Lavakusa's birth or before?
Yes, yes. After mother's, she has disappeared from this
Disappeared
world.
from
She,
the planet
from
completely.
the
Okay.
planet. Yes,
Then again, Rama continued doing the sacrifices.
yes. For 13,000 years, that's what in Bhagavatam it states.
I was
He's
thinking that he just left the kingdom to his kids and he also went back.
Yes, I cannot comment. That's yeah. There are
Yeah,
different versions. Could
mm,
be
mm,
maybe Valmiki Ramayana says something else. But this is in Bhagavatam though. Shukadeva Goswami states that.
mm.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah. There are
class,
different
Prabhuji.
versions
Yes,
and
yes.
everything states something else. But the principle
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah,
that Lord cares for his devotees and more than himself.
yeah. And mainly about the verse when they said the options that they have to kill the person or leave the place and all that. I remember Balarama was killing in the Aranya, right? The Muni who was not respecting him with the blade of
Yes,
grass.
yes,
Sutamohan,
Sota.
Sutamuni, I think.
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Yeah,
Yes.
because he is capable of that punishing also.
Yes, that is the subtle. He doesn't blaspheme directly, but by
Mhm.
not giving respect to Balaram, it's a
Yeah,
subtle pride that is also considered. Yes, it's very hard to get into these things, but yeah, here we are trying to do something.
mm,
Yes, yes, Mataji. Thank you for sharing that.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anyone want to comment or share something? All right, let's stop here. Vancha